Chapter 136, Elite Myself. This was something that had never happened before. The immortal divine techniques are indeed more advanced and has a wider range. Songshi thought to himself. The current immortal divine techniques that he possesses are the 9-Yang divine technique, which cultivated the acupuncture points, the Kane pure Yang technique, which cultivated the Danshan, and the Dragon Elephant technique that cultivated the Danshan. Martial skills were the Iron Sand Palm, Phantom Image Step, Unfettered Hand, and the Dragon Subduing Palm that he cultivated, which focused on his limbs. Only the imperishable golden body covered his entire body. Perhaps this was the key to the fusion of his cultivation techniques. As the circulation of the cultivation technique's power became more and more coordinated, Songshi realized that the essence, energy, and spirit in his body were gradually condensing into one, as if they had transformed into a placenta. Very naturally, he completed the construction of the basic foundation establishment realm ability for the embryonic breathing technique. The energy in his body formed a new cycle. For a period of time, he did not need to breathe or even absorb energy from the outside world to survive. This is the key stated in the Primordial Chaos chapter. Everything is like a newborn. Like the state of the universe's primordial chaos, the world is filled with all sorts of possibilities. Songshi was enlightened. Previously, he had always felt that cultivating the imperishable golden body was too slow. It turned out that this was because he lacked pressure and hence could not enter the embryonic breathing technique. In the end, he had improved too quickly. He had advanced from the early stage foundation establishment realm to the late stage foundation establishment realm in just 3 months. The embryonic breathing technique required time to circulate in his body, so he had to work hard to slowly change this. Now that he was suppressed by the array formation power in the blood array, everything about him was isolated from the outside world. Under the immense pressure, he had cultivated the embryonic breathing technique, and had also made some progress in the Primordial Chaos chapter of the imperishable golden body. Under the influence of the imperishable golden body, the energy in the 9 acupuncture points began to merge into one, forming an even larger sun. Its explosive power and defense directly increased by level. Amidst the blood, Songshi felt much less pressure. The previous signs of his bones being crushed also disappeared. The essence energy, his body condensed into one, and his essence energy became purer and purer. In particular, his glabella began to glow. This was the last acupuncture point in the foundation establishment stage of the 9-Yang divine technique, the upper Danshan. This acupuncture point was also termed the Niwan Palace. It was connected to the spiritual sea of the body, so the 10th acupuncture point was not cultivating true essence, but instead cultivating spiritual power. Due to the spiritual power cultivated being yin in nature, the 10th acupuncture point could not be considered yang for the time being. Hence, the cultivation technique was called the 9-Yang divine technique. Of course, if his spiritual power continued to grow, turning yin into yang, and cultivating him into a yang god, then his cultivation method would be completely perfected. Songshi had also cultivated the spirit-type cultivation technique, Grand Moon Visualization method, so his spiritual strength was not bad to begin with. Now, under the guidance of the 9-Yang divine technique, the last acupuncture point was easily opened. Bows, the glabella between his eyebrows shone brightly. A large amount of spiritual strength condensed in one place, causing his spiritual strength to undergo a transformation and directly rise to a higher level. The increase in his spiritual strength caused the essence energy and essence chi in Songshi's body to boil. In turn, it stimulated the increase in his body and essence energy. Golden light shone brightly on his body, forcing the blood light to retreat a little. Then, he took out the essence enhancing pill he had drawn from his storage ring and ate it. Now that his condition had improved, he still had to resist the array formation power. He had consumed a lot of energy and had to replenish his energy. Otherwise, his strength would decrease. Essence enhancing pills were made for the cultivation of foundation establishment cultivators. It quickly melted in his mouth and the pure energy spread throughout his body, allowing Songshi to easily absorb it. The consumption of energy in his body was replenished and Songshi's realm steadily advanced to the perfected foundation establishment realm. However, he realized that his foundation was too solid. One essence-enhancing pill usually needed ordinary early-stage foundation establishment cultivators to absorb it for half a month, while late-stage foundation establishment cultivators of the same level needed to absorb it for 3 to 4 days. However, Songshi felt that he could do it for only half a day. Indeed, in less than 8 hours, the medicinal power of the essence-enhancing pill was almost exhausted. He was still quite a bit away from breaking through the small bottleneck and reaching the perfected foundation establishment realm from the late-stage foundation establishment realm. My combat strength is comparable to a golden core, so this kind of medicinal pill has less effect on me. This is the only way. Songshi had a strange expression on his face as he thought of something. Taking advantage of the fact that the blood-robed old ghost seemed to have gone out, he took out the devil pill and ate it. Does this count as eating myself? He felt a little strange, because this thing had absorbed his essence, chi, and spirit to condense. It had already completed the transformation of his power before he died. Therefore, it did not disappear because of his resurrection. This kind of special thing made him wonder if he could repeat the process a few more times, and make use of the system to die continuously and produce special pills like the demon pill. After all, every demonic pill would contain all his essence, chi, and spirit. Even if there was a loss in the middle, every time he refined and absorbed it, he could obtain a few % of his essence, chi, and spirit in pill form. The only thing is that the process is too painful. When one's essence, energy, and spirit are extracted, it can be considered to be a fate worse than death. Just as Songshi was letting his imagination run wild, the power in the demonic pill began to release in his body, causing his expression to change. This power was extremely vast, like a turbulent flood. It was roughly half of his current essence, chi, and spirit. Not only did it contain essence energy, but it also contained spiritual energy and mental strength. It was as if Songshi had eaten half of himself in one bite. For a moment, he felt a little bloated. He quickly circulated his cultivation techniques and crazily absorbed this power. Fortunately, this power was extracted from his body. It came from the same source, so his power was not difficult to absorb. It was just that the amount was relatively large. Songshi's cultivation level began to increase rapidly, and the process was also a synchronized enhancement of his essence, chi, and spirit. Other than the system's direct rewards from cultivation, Songshi had never improved so quickly in such a short amount of time. Interesting, I've encountered another way to improve quickly. It's a pity that that old woman only had one demonic seed. Otherwise, I could have made a few more pills. Songshi thought to himself, that's not right. This old woman said that she obtained it from the cult master of the demonic sect. Perhaps after interacting with the people of the demonic sect, they would have something similar. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that there was a chance. Then, he felt that there was something wrong with his mind. He actually wanted to sacrifice himself. If only I could find a way to be immune to the agonizing pain for a short period of time. Songshi sighed. He was not afraid of death, but he was afraid of pain, especially the feeling of living a life worse than death. To be honest, he did not want to experience too much. It was easy for him to become a masochist if he indulged in such fates too much. Perhaps he had already become a masochist. Songshi quickly absorbed his strength and successfully crossed the bottleneck, officially stepping into the perfected foundation establishment realm. After breaking through, he realized that the growth of his essence energy was gradually approaching the limit of his current realm. At this point, he could prepare to form his golden core. This was a huge threshold. It was not something that could be broken through despite having enough strength. Core formation involved the metamorphosis of essence energy and had to conform to the rules of heaven and earth. Without sufficient foundation and comprehension, one might not even be able to break through for the rest of their lives. Of course, this was true only for others. Songshi had only used half a year to reach this stage from a mortal. It was certain that it would not be too difficult for him to form his core. Ha, kid, that old bald donkey has already run away. Who still remembers that you're trapped here? The old ghost's proud voice came from outside. Just now, I chased after that old bald donkey and caught a male wild boar on the way back. Are you ready to turn into a pig? The blood river churned as the blood-robed old ghost descended from the sky. He held a 10-foot-long wild boar in one hand with a smug expression. He wanted to see if Songshi was already extremely weak from the suppression. When the smile on his face turned into shock. How is this possible? Can he still break through after being suppressed by me?